Economic figures released by the European Commission today show confidence in the Eurozone continues to fall. The Economic Sentiment Index, which highlights consumer and industry confidence, fell under the long-term average. Consumer confidence was marginally revised up from the early estimate, but is still at minus 16.5, and business sentiment also fell. Joining me on the line to discuss this is Aspachs-Bracons, who is Director of European Economics in the research team at the banking group La Caixa in Spain. Thanks very much for joining me, Oriol. The flash estimate of the Eurozone consumer confidence released last week showed the largest decline since October, and today the economic sentiment indicator is also down. Why do you think we've seen consumer confidence fall by so much?
Clearly behind this sharp decrease in the consumer confidence index is the high volatility that the main indices experienced in the first half of August. The thing here is to understand why this happened and why this happening again and again. And the answer is the answer that we all know. It's the Eurozone debt crisis and basically the lack of leadership and lack of clear policies that solve once and for all this sovereign debt crisis. This is one of the main reasons, of course, but there are other things that coincided in time this summer. The change in growth expectations after the publication of Q2 data for the EU and for the US. This GDP growth figures for Germany and for France that disappointed a bit, and especially this change in expectations, US growth also, I think, affected the general sentiment.
There was also a fall today in the business climate indicator for the sixth month in a row. Which of these indicators do you think is more significant, and will a recovery come primarily from business or consumers?
The key thing here is that more or less all indicators are turning to the same direction, right? And regarding if the recovery will come from the consumption side or from the business side, here I think that consumption will not lead the recovery. It will post positive growth rates, that's for sure, but they will be quite moderate. And why? Here in Europe, we have this deleveraging process that is going on, and it will continue this year and next year. There is also the new Basel III regulation, which does not allow the credit growth to recover quite fast. There are also these tensions in financial markets that don't go away, that persist there. And there's also the higher employment rate. So all these things together make me think that the consumption will not lead the recovery. On the other hand, what we are seeing is a nice growth rate on the external sector, especially exports, right? So that this is what should lead the recovery, what we expect that will lead the recovery.
Since the Eurozone summit, it had been relatively quiet news-wise. Do you think today's figures suggest this is just a calm before another larger Eurozone storm?
All countries, in my opinion, are in the right track. Both Greece, Portugal, and especially Ireland. They have all understood that a higher degree of fiscal discipline is necessary, but they are in a very fragile equilibrium. So it's very likely that there might be more episodes of higher volatility until the real problems behind the Eurozone debt crisis are not fixed. And by this I mean that a higher degree of fiscal integration is necessary. More power to the European bodies to supervise and enforce national fiscal policies are needed. At the same time, a higher degree of risk sharing is also needed. And by this I mean Eurobonds, of course. Right? But all these things will take some time to happen. So, for example, the size of the EFSF should be increased, and the countries with liquidity problems should be able to tap some of their financial needs through the EFSF.
Thanks very much for that, Oriol. Don't forget there'll be more interviews and currency projections from some of the world's leading economists this week on Dukascopy TV, so stay tuned.